Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the stock show coming at you weekly on Sundays to give you a great start to your trading week. We're going to go through some news articles and look at some charts and look at my cheat sheet. I have a cheat sheet for stock, so check that out if you haven't already. But wherever you are tuning in from around the world, I want to warmly welcome you to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and those of you who are regular watchers, smash that like button. This helps support the channel and gets it out to more people out there as well. And the link for the cheat sheet is below in the description, so check that out. Okay, we're going to jump into, are we in a recession? Interesting little thing here is that stocks usually fall 15% within 12 months following the first cut if there is a recession. If no recession, stocks rise by 10%. So basically, if we have a recession, then stocks will drop. But if we don't have a recession, they won't. It's all going to come down to whether they announce whether in a recession or not. And so I thought this was pretty interesting how much fear can drive the markets there. Certainly, the stocks return after a rate cut generally haven't been too bad. But in the end, after 12 months, we've generally found that there has been an average of a 4.9% to the upside after 1 year of the first rate cut. 6 months, even after the first rate cut, 4.4%. And it's usually 3 months after the first rate cut, we have 1.1%. But there's been some times that there has been green here. So I thought this was an interesting chart. It goes all the way back to 1973 there. So I think we have a fair bit of data to look at. And certainly, there's some opportunities there to certainly 1981 and 1973 and possibly 2001, obviously, were the real heavy years. Still after 12 months, it was still fairly heavily down. And even we had 2007, the global financial crisis there, 7.2. But after the drop, 2019 there, we saw that 14.5%. So it's not too bad when we look at that. Zooming out, obviously some of the red years were pretty heavy red years, and certainly that's something to take into consideration. And so the question really is, are we in a recession? Mike Siccardi thinks that anybody suggesting a recession is imminent is ignoring reality, and has some data here. You can quickly read that on the screen as I make some comments, but I'd like to know what you think. First of all, are we going to have a recession? If we do, when do you feel that it's going to happen, and what do you think is going to happen with the stock market? Put in the comments what you feel, your thoughts are, and how you're trading stocks currently based on the data that we have been getting in. So, however, Seth feels that it could come in 2029. And he has a little bit of a breakdown here. And so certainly you could have a bit of a look at that. And it would obviously mark 100 years since 1929. And so that is something there, just a reset. So just a game theory, and my opinion should not be taken as a financial advice. Neither should my opinions, because I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained on your Sunday? Hopefully on the beach somewhere sipping a coffee, or going out and cheering your kids on as they play sport, or in church, or whatever you may be doing. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. It always starts with a soft landing in the US. However, only one soft landing has been achieved since the 1980s. This was when the job market was actually improving. Currently, unemployment is rising, and leading indicators point to further weakness. I don't even know if we can trust the unemployment numbers at the moment. They keep getting revised, it seems, all the time anyway. And then we have the market is pricing in a 50% chance of a US recession by June 2025. The percentage is more than doubled over the last month and is up from 10% in July. Furthermore, the market is pricing in 50% probability the Fed will cut rates by at least 200 basis points over the next 8 months. So this is very interesting. We've got, are we going to have a soft landing, or are we going to have a bit of a crash landing? I did a video earlier this week where I went into that a little bit, but I'd certainly like to know soft landing or crash landing, or somewhere kind of in between. I usually like to find some middle ground and find some balance there as well. All right, let's jump into a little bit of stocks. I thought this was interesting. about buying stocks at their IPO. And this is why I do not buy stocks at their IPO, and I did not buy Coinbase's. And even when Coinbase launched, I waited till Coinbase came down to $60 and picked up a nice bag of Coinbase stock at $60. And certainly that's paid and has paid off very well. And I continue to accumulate on every dip. But you can just see here the market cap at IPO versus the current market cap. And really only Palantir is the one that kind of stands out there, and that was a trade that I gave and have added, and that trade is actually working out very well, and we'll go to that in just a moment. You also have here the QQQ. Are you an investor in the QQQ? Certainly, here's what you're actually buying. If you invest $1,000 in the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, this is what you're actually getting. I thought that was just very interesting. The majority is mostly the Magnificent Seven, and there's a remaining 92 stocks, $523. So about half of it, the remaining 92 companies. It just shows you how dominant these companies have been and do take up their market share of the QQQ there. I thought that was a really interesting graphic there. And then NVIDIA, of course, I like this graphic because, people didn't want to buy it. I actually picked it up around the $90 and rode it up to 140, and then I rebought the dip, and so watching that go back up again. But certainly, it works like that, isn't it? It's something's down, nobody wants it, there's something wrong with it, and that's where I come in. I want to buy the fear, I want to buy the blood, and I want to sell the greed on the way up, and then rinse and repeat. Certainly MicroStrategy has been a good trade, and I do like this, but it can work in the opposite here, and this is why they've been so successful. They bought the Bitcoin increases, the market cap increases, and then they're able to issue equity, buy more Bitcoin, and it just keeps going on a cycle. But however, Bitcoin Walk said something that I was actually thinking, what happens if it happens in the opposite? Would unravel the same way. And so very simply, if the price of Bitcoin go up, generally the price of MicroStrategy is going to follow, or they're very heavily correlated together. So I'm not looking at those as really long-term holds or trades there. Like I said, I probably will be in about 10% when we get to the top of the bull market, the crypto bull market there, okay? And then lastly here, just they have outperformed all stocks, including the Magnificent Seven, by more than 100%. So they've done great, and certainly it has been a killer trade. I wish I had gone in a little bit earlier, but I didn't. But I have certainly learned my lesson, and I've entered in a trade that has been quite profitable so far. So anyway, let's look at the cheat sheet and see how we've been going with that. And we can see that we've been able to hit some targets here. Certainly the S&P 500, see that coming up. Can we hit that 610 level on the SPY trade there? And certainly there's been some good successful trades and I have to give a shout out to Stocks with Josh, the GOAT, the chart GOAT himself. He got me onto SoundHound. I actually got in, I think he gave it, I feel like it was around $1. And I've made like literally around 500 or 600% on that trade. So do appreciate that trade and that shout out there. And certainly the Palantir trade is paying off really well so far. I think we're up to about 36, on track to get to our $45 level and so forth. And just, I have to take profits here because I think it's important for me as a trader to take profits off the table. And so I certainly like to lock in profits on the way up and then reaccumulate on pullbacks, lock in profits. Okay, so let's look at our Apple trade. So definitely the 50-day moving average at about 222 there. And on my cheat sheet here for Apple, yeah, that's still an aggressive entry at the 50-day moving average. And we're still in that trade, so we're looking up. Look, if it comes to pullback here, I'll be reaccumulating some Apple at these levels, and certainly looking at taking profit at 265. So not much has changed there for Apple. If we go down to Amazon here, we have Amazon, and we have some convergence there. The 200 EMA and the 50-day moving average at around about that 180 mark. So let's go and have a look at Amazon in our cheat sheet here. And certainly that is in a buy zone there as an aggressive entry, or could wait for there's some further pullbacks and entries there. But certainly I'm in that Amazon trade. I'm looking at that first take profit level at 200. The next trade here is a newer trade that I got in, and it worked out pretty well. And then we're back in the trade. And certainly if we come down to that $24 level or even that $18 level, there would be quite kind of nice entries there. Certainly could come down and test this $13 and if we did, I would accumulate a little bit more there as well. Do I have that $13 level on the cheat sheet there? I kind of do. I might just actually flip that, or 14, because that moving average is going up. So $14 to $16 there entry. And so then I would take profits then again at 40. And then if we keep going up, these are my other take profit levels there. Okay, so for Coinbase, we had entries at 200, 185, 170. 160. So let's have a look at Coinbase, how we're going there. So we're still at, in my opinion, this is still accumulation here, and accumulate these levels. As you see, it came down to 150. This is where I bought down here at 150 and got in. And certainly, I've had earlier buys at 60 or so forth, but certainly look at taking profit on the way up for Coinbase there as we continue to go up. We've got the Coinbase at 220. Maybe I might look at taking profit a little bit earlier there. We do have the 50-day moving average at 200, and the 200 EMA is at 190. So if these kind of converge together, I might see how that reacts when it get there. If we break above and retest, then I'll hold and ride that up. But certainly, if we look on the 4-hour as well, these are converging here. So this $200 level would probably be a good place to take possibly a little bit earlier profit there, or you could hold that up to that 220 level, which is right around here. So that's that level there. Okay, so let's have a look at our next one on the list, which is Google. And so if we look at the Google charts here, what do we have with Google? Google, we had entries at 155, which I did get entry, and then take profit at 190. How is that trade playing out right now? That trade's playing out beautiful. So I gave that trade at 150, okay? And what have we seen with that? We have seen that trade absolutely kill. Now, look here, we are getting a little bit of resistance because we've got the 50-day moving average and the 200 EMA on the 4-hour sitting at around that 165. So certainly, depending on your position size, and we aren't breaking through that at the moment. However, we haven't had, let's have a look at this on the daily chart. Yeah, so we only really just got there. I want to see how this reacts. I want to see how this opens, but this could be a little, up here. There's the 50-day moving average about 165. But if we face some rejection here, this might be a place where I might take some profits and then reaccumulate back around this range here, or I might just sit on it and let it bounce around and hope that it can pop above, retest the support. But this certainly also could be a place to entry if you're looking for a day trade or a swing trade. Jump in here at 165, retest the support, and then look at taking profits. I've got that take profit level there on the Google trade on the chart there. 190, 260, 300 as we go up. The Meta trade, certainly the couple of levels got hit there and absolutely crushing the Meta trade. Where are we at now with Meta? That's been a killer trade. And so, we have hit that first take profit level there for Meta. So that's worked out, absolutely smoked that trade. We easily met that level there. So we're going to color that in green. So far you just see what's happened. It's really simple. You buy the fear and you buy the dips, and then you take profits in these areas here, and then you rinse and repeat. This is why I give you a very simple, easy to follow trading strategy here, where you build positions when there is fear, when there is blood, when we're in dips, and then you distribute those positions to those people who buy the FOMO and the greed. Okay, so very important there. Micro strategy there, certainly 130, 120, 130. I think we're still waiting for this one to pop off here. Certainly waiting for this one, but it's on its way. It's definitely on its way there, 144. So we're waiting for this to pop back up. Where we broke down from basically here at about 160, that'll be our first profit. So it's just about being patient. I'm not worried. If we come back down, I'll just accumulate more. It's just really that simple. And so we just continue to do this and put it on rinse, repeat. We haven't made that there, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have hit our positions. So that's looking pretty good there. And then the NVIDIA trade actually worked out to be very good as well. Let's look at NVIDIA. Here we go, NVIDIA. And this is looking pretty good. I mean, we took profit on this one as it went up to 140, and then we rebought the dip. But you can just see how you could play this one. Buy here, sell here, buy here. We're getting a little bit stuck at the 50-day moving average there. How is that looking? I think we're doing okay. Let's switch to the 4-hour here. Yeah, it looks like we're currently retesting that as support, if that can kind of pop up. If not, we could break down here. And again, I'm going to be adding more around the $110 level there to ride that one. Certainly, we've got on the 4-hour a high, and then we've got a bit of a lower high there. But certainly on the other side, we've got a low, higher low and another higher low there as well. If we were to lose and break down below here, then I feel that we could get some nice support there on the 4-hour. And then the 200 EMA is sitting, even in a more juicier prospect around that $95 to $100 level there. Certainly that would be a value zone for me as well. But certainly we already made money on the NVIDIA trade. It's just about getting back in the trade, rebuying low and then selling high. And you can just keep repeating these trades as they go. And I'll keep updating this chart here as we go as well. So we already got that 140. We can go again and take profit again at 140, go back to 100, buy, take profit again at 140, go back. I'm happy for it just to keep doing that and bouncing around. You just can make money like that. You don't have to wait till it gets all the way up to 180. You can just trade the swings there. Okay, so Palantir is working out. We haven't hit that 45 level for Palantir, but certainly we're just going to be patient with this trade. We've got this trade here. This is where I gave the trade. Now we're up to $37, so we're on our way to 45. Certainly if we have a pullback, the 50-day moving average there sitting at about $30, still at the entry zone there, no problem. And obviously if we come down to 200 EMA at 24 and a little bit low, 28 there. So the 28 to 30, still that's a good entry right here. Boom, that was the perfect entry right there and off to the races, and we're up to 37. So if you got on that trade with us here on the channel, you're in some pretty good profit right now, and we're going to look to ride that up to about $45 there, and then we can get up on that trade. Okay, so the next one is the SPY, and the SPY is, we got our first take profit at 560. So we've got the SPY here, and this is looking pretty good. Just keeps making new all-time highs. So we are looking for that 610 area, but obviously if we pull back here, we can certainly, we hit that 560 level. We got in the trade. Where did we get in the trade together on this one? Got in the trade at 538 when I gave this trade. So we got in the trade back here around the 200 EMA on the just here on this dip here. So we got on this trade on this dip. We took the trade here and we've ridden that up. We were able to lock in some profits at 560, and our next level to the upside is 610. Okay, and then the last two here we have Sound Hound, which again has been an absolutely fantastic trade. This has been one of my favorite trades here, and certainly we have broken out, and we could see some still more upside here for Sound. We're sitting at about $5 right now, so we are not in a buy zone. We already accumulated the Sound Hound, and we already took profits at $5.85. Now it's come back to $5. I'll be staying patient on this one and looking to add to the trade in those areas of interest. And then the Tesla trade has been the biggest one that we've had so far. We got up to that 260. So this trade's been in here. So this has been a great little trade. And so we were able to take profit initially at 260, and then we got in again and took profit at 230. And so if we look at Tesla here, and this is our last one for today, we got all the way down at 185, and I was buying 185, 205. I bought 225 on the way down to build a position, and then what we've had. So we bought this dip. Where was the dip that we bought? We bought this dip here. So this is where we bought it here. And you can see on the ribbon, EMA ribbons, as soon as it went red to green, that was the time to get in the trade. And that's when I gave the trade at 185. And then further, when we broke up here, I gave the trade again to get in at 200. And then when we break the 50-day moving average at 225. So you can see here on my chart, I don't just make up these numbers, 185, 205, 225. Let's look at them again here on the trade. Okay, we saw the break of the 200 EMAs, this ribbon that I had, this beautiful little indicator. As soon as that went red to green, we're in the trade at 185 here, okay? And then the second entry that I gave was as soon as we came and broke above the 200 EMA on the daily, sitting at around about 200. at the time. It was around 200. And then the third trade was at that this level here at 225, a break, a retest. You can see how it retested here and then off to the race. There's the 200 simple moving average on the weekly time frame. This 235 certainly now as a retest of support, that could push a little bit higher. So if you missed the trade, this would be fairly risky and aggressive, certainly. But certainly this could end up being quite a good trade. We're not sure how the market's going to open here. We'll find out later tonight and tomorrow morning how those markets are going to go. But certainly here at 235, certainly to get, if you did not get in the trade, this could be an aggressive entry here. But personally for me, I'm waiting to see if we break down below that, and then that would mean maybe a retest and get back and add some more, and then add some more here. And obviously if we went down even further, we could certainly get back in the trade and ride like this. But this certainly has been a great trade. 260 back to that 230, locked in some profits there, and didn't totally close out of the position, by the way. I just snagged some profits up there. So if we keep going, I'll take some more profits. So just to be clear, I am not completely exiting these positions for the most part. Some I do. Some I completely exit the position. I get out of the trade. Then I get back to in the trade. I basically am just taking whatever profit is on the table at this level, and then I continue to ride the trade up. So I am actually staying in these trades for as long as possible, because all I do is add it back here and then sell it here. And that's what I look to do, is identify local bottoms and then identify local tops for selling. So I look to say, okay, these are the local tops that I feel that I've identified for selling. Let's take profits there. And these are some of the local bottoms that I've identified for buying, and for buying the dips there as well. And certainly sometimes here, and why do we do it in stages like this, was look at this one. This only hit this one. Oh, we could have gone, I'm going to wait for here, 23. Well, you'd still be waiting, and you would have missed the gains. And so this is why I do have these aggressive entries, and why I do build positions. I build positions, I layer in, I ladder in, I scale in, and then I scale out. And this certainly helps with the risk side of things, that you're not just entering all your dough at one level, and you're not just completely selling out at one level where you go, I sold Tesla at 230 and now it's at 260, now it's at 375. I can't get back in again. Now I have to buy it back higher. This is the way I trade. This has been a proven winning strategy. And certainly, again, I'm not financial advisor, not financial advice. It's up to you to choose your trading strategy. But certainly if you want to follow along with what I'm doing here, you can see that we've already banked in some pretty good profits. And on some of these other ones, we're up, and we'll look at taking some more profits as they ride up. And if we come back down again, then we can add and further build these positions or add back to these positions. Well, I hope that helped you today, and I hope you enjoyed the show, and certainly love all the comments and the questions. A lot of encouraging and kind words, and I really do appreciate that, because you did take the time to do that. You didn't have to. And so thank you for that. And of course, all the questions that I get, I do look to get back to those as quickly as I can. Some more quicker than others, because some require a little bit more thought and attention. Certainly for some reason, it's been a week or so and I haven't, hit me up again, and I'll make sure I'll give that attention. But again, thank you all for watching. And until the next episode, which will be Monday morning, I've got my crypto show, which is daily, 6 days a week, and my altcoin show, which is also daily, 6 days a week. Please check those out. But until the next time, happy trading.